Today I'm here with an iconic pickleball player on the way to pro and a creator everyone should know. He's a flat 5.0 doubles duper and a 4.69 singles duper and a full-time pickleball influencer and content creator. You may know his name, which is also his brand, Shea Underwood. Thanks for coming on.
Howdy, man. Dude, I didn't know you're gonna like rattle my singles duper like that. If I would have known, I would have got it up. That's gotta be bad for retention, right?
You know what? We can do another interview in a few weeks and get that single duper up. We can update everybody.
Oh man, I'm not planning on playing any tournaments for like 6 months, but now that I've been called out, I feel like I have to.
There we go. All right. Let's give it 6 months and we'll see where it stands then.
All right. Sounds good, man. Well, hey man, I appreciate you having me on, dude. Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. So let's get right into it. Just paint me a picture of when, why, and how you decided to just, switch up everything you have going on in your life to become a full-time pickleball content creator.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to say it was about 8 months ago. I don't actually have the exact date like memorized or written down or anything, but I was an engineer for a company called Kimberly Clark. And during that time, I started making pickleball content kind of on the side. And dude, I just every day I would do my work for Kimberly Clark and I would just be thinking the entire day, like, how can I make content today? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? I feel like my time there was just not being used how I wanted to be used, and I wanted to just consume my entire life with pickleball content. So I started to do it. And then at some point I had a really, really good month, and it hasn't happened since, but I made more money doing pickleball content than I did in my full-time engineering job. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm pursuing this thing full time. And I haven't looked back since. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good reason to switch over if you're making more money and you're more, more happy in the day to day. So
Yeah. And it's not really about the money at this point. Like I do give a lot of what I make just back to the community in different forms. But for me, it's just like, corporate job. And then it was like pickleball content. I love this. I'm excited about it. I'm passionate about it. I told you before this, I could literally talk about it all day.
yeah,
So let's go do that thing. Yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
people sense that. I think the people out there that are doing it because they love it. I mean, no matter what field of work you're in, it usually shows, and that's usually what creates success. So, love to see that. I'm curious though, what was the reaction from your friends, family, parents? What I'm sure there was a mix there, but give me the range, give me the positive,
Oh
give
man.
me the negative.
Dude, there really hasn't been a lot of negative, mostly positive. I've surrounded myself with like a really good support group, very blessed to have them by my side throughout this entire process. And like throughout my entire life, I've always been one to just like pick up something, hyper obsess over it. And it's always just something that's a little different to most people. So like becoming a kicker, for example, or like I grinded on this game called Rocket League for a long time. But it's interesting. Like, I guess the only negative side is I took my personal Facebook account and my personal Instagram account and just completely converted it to all pickleball. So I've noticed like a lot of the people that had followed me in what I would call a past life just don't follow me anymore.
Right.
So I'm like, losing influence on friends like that, and I'm losing touch with people. But at the end of the day, man, just make content you're proud of, make stuff that excites you, and you're going to attract the community that also resonates with that. And the rest, it'll just kind of work itself out, I guess.
Yep. And they say
Yeah.
quality over quantity. So you want the friends following you that you want following you.
Yeah, 100%. That's been like that took me a little bit to get over because I've had like some really, really good friends from, middle school, college that, don't follow me anymore. And at first it kind of like hurt. But then you look back at your followers the next day and it's more than it was the day before. And you're like, well, like it's okay because at the end of the day, like the people that are following me love me and I love them. And so let's continue pursuing those people and the rest, like it's all right. Yeah.
Exactly. So when we think about like the average day of a pickleball content creator, if I have to think about a doctor's day, and an engineer's day, a carpenter's day, a tennis or pickleball coach's day, you can pretty easily map out. Okay, you get up, you have your breakfast, you drive to the office, you do this or that. Describe to me what is the average day of a pickleball content creator? I have no idea.
Really, yeah. So it's man, it's different, it's flexible, and I think it varies depending on who you talk to. But for me personally, my mornings are very, very structured. So from like 5:30 to 7, it's a very strict routine, same thing every day. And I don't, differ from that routine. But then after that, it just kind of devolves into chaos. And it's whatever the day gives me is what I, try to pursue. So it could be anything, man. Like for example, if I'm filming a trick shot video, I literally might spend 8 hours that day, like
Wow.
filming a trick shot video. Or there's some days where I'm like training for 3 hours, and then I'm watching film for 3 hours, or like I'm traveling. It's just you got to roll with the punches. You have like an idea of what you want to get done during the day, and as long as in my mind right now, I've got three things that are kind of like guiding my life. And it's number one, am I getting better at making pickleball content? Am I making pickleball content? Number two is, am I getting better at pickleball? Am I training? Am I in the gym? Am I doing things that benefit my health and like my mental health? And number three, am I meeting people or having experiences that help me do thing one or thing two? Right. So as long as what I'm doing throughout my day is something along those lines, then it's okay. It might be a little chaotic, it might be a little unorthodox, but it's fine. And yeah, just always kind of random. Who knows?
Yeah, I like the list, and I think you're getting at least two of them taken care of right now. You're making
Yeah.
pickleball content. You're surrounding yourself by people that'll help. And then in terms of getting better at pickleball, I think our dupers are pretty much around the same level. So not sure if we can get better as players on this interview, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe, man. But who knows? Like this could turn into somebody learning about me who lives close to me, and then they want to drill, and then I get better at it that way. Who knows? You know.
Yep,
But
yep.
yeah.
I'm curious about that 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. window. What's the strict, consistent routine from 5:30 a.m. every morning that you're doing?
Yeah, it's evolved over the past couple years, and it's not been something that's been very consistent until like really the past year. But so I played football in college. I played at Georgia Tech. I was a kicker, I was a punter. And during that time, we had a lot of early morning workouts. So that taught me to get up early and like just get my stuff done. And so these days, waking up at 5:30, immediately first thing, cold shower just because it sucks and it kind of like sets the tone for the day. And then I had a great football coach named Blair Harrison in high school. And he had this philosophy of the 50-50, which is like 50 push-ups, 50 crunches every single day. Do that for a year, and you're like, that's a lot of push-ups and crunches. So I do the 50-50-50, where I just added in pull-ups as well. So do that every morning. Like, so you got like a mental battle over with the cold shower, you got like some physical training, and then it evolves into like I do stretching, like meditation, just getting like my mind right. Try to avoid my phone early on, and then it turns into breakfast. So have the same breakfast every morning. Most mornings, it kind of varies depending on where I am in the world, if I'm traveling or not. And then from there, it's usually at 7, I either go to the gym or I go to the courts, just depending on the weather, depending on the day, depending on what I have lined up. And yeah, after that, who knows?
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's a nice morning routine. I think I'll take your morning health wise over my getting up, immediately reaching for my phone, responding to text, barely getting out of bed in time to get to my first engagement of the day. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a page out of your book.
Well, man, like even I say that, but it's not, I don't do it every day perfectly. Like I always fail sometimes and I reach for the phone first thing in the morning, but it's just like as long as I'm striving to get better at that every single day, then I'm good to go. I actually have a app on my phone called Way of Life. It's really, really good. And it's like a habit tracker. So I have like a list of habits that I do every day. And I just track like, yes, I did that. No, I didn't do that. And it's interesting to look back and see the days where it's all green, where I did everything that I like set out to do. Those days tend to be like the most satisfying and productive days. And the days where it's red are the days where I end up on the couch until like 12 o'clock, not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about what makes you different as a content creator. Everybody has their own niche. Some are really, really good at teaching shots, trick shots. Maybe some people just focus on interviews. What do you really see as, your main kind of value proposition on why should people watch Shea Underwood versus another creator?
Yeah, it's something I've been like wrestling with myself. It's tough to know, but what I've provided to people and what I want most is just impact. Like I want to impact the most amount of people possible. and I can do that in different ways. So number one is like finding people that don't know what pickleball is and just showing them like a cooler version of it. I think we can probably agree that to the average person watching a pickleball point, just it's not, it doesn't really tick all the boxes. It's kind of boring, it's kind of repetitive. But then you go to a pickleball court and you do a trick shot, or like you do this like weird, crazy shot and like have a punchy audio with a beat drop and like cool keyframes. It makes it look a little cooler, you know? So I kind of pride myself in trying to make pickleball look cool to a certain, I don't know, but yeah. And then also I had this thing where like I'm just trying to constantly break the game of pickleball, where I just want to come up with like new crazy strategies. And yeah, so that's always interesting, the things that I come up with and my friends help me come up with. But yeah, man, more recently I've gotten into more of like the high stakes challenge entertainment stuff. So, like I had a video, serve a pickleball, win $100. And it's
Right.
just a way of like giving back to the community, providing entertainment for people, and also just once again showcasing pickleball in a way that it's not normally shown to people.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even really think about asking this, but I want to actually go back to the thing you brought up about breaking the game. I really like that kind of idea because Matt, who runs a pickleball clinic with me, is also someone that tries to kind of come up with those cool little ideas, shots or rule ways to bend the rules. A really good example a lot of people can relate that to is the spin serve. There used to be this serve that was allowed. You could spin the ball with your hand a certain way, where when you hit the serve, the ball goes crazy. It was something not a lot of people realized. Then everybody started doing it. There's that Kyle Yates sort of reverse shot. I had him on
Yeah.
and talked about that. Do you have any other sort of super, and I know maybe you don't want to give away some stuff, but anything you're cool with giving away, what tiny little insights do you have on the next big trend that's going to help break pickleball?
Yeah, I've got two things actually. So, one thing is probably a lot more practical, and I just recently talked about it with Jordan Briones. So this is a whole nother conversation, but I was in Phoenix for 2 weeks, this past 2 weeks, and got to hang out with like Jordan and some other guys out there, and we were talking about like having set plays in pickleball. So I have this whole series about like screen plays where like you hop in front of your partner and like screen the ball during a dink or like a speed up. And there's like some gray area in the rules there. We don't really know if that's a hindrance or not. I guess it depends on the referee and the situation. But we were talking about like having set plays. So one thing I do that's probably different from most people is whenever I'm hitting a third shot drop, I say like hard or soft. And then like if I really know the person and I'm really communicating with them, well, I'll be like hard left, hard right, or like soft left, soft right, soft middle. And that just tells them where I'm hitting the ball, like what they can do as a result of me hitting the ball there, what they should be expecting. And then we talked about like, all right, maybe like what if we get to the kitchen line and I say red, and that means I'm speeding up cross court, to be ready for it.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff like that I think might come along, and maybe there's people doing it already. But a more interesting one, I can't give it away because I didn't really come up with it. My friend Chase did, and we're filming it hopefully Monday. But you'll see it. It's so ridiculous. It should not be allowed. It should not be legal, but it is, and it has potential to like, really throw some people for a loop when you pull it off in a game. Yeah,
Okay.
and I think it's going to actually require a what I would call a hot fix, or like we're probably going to have to see the rules changed, like maybe before the end of the year, just to fix this dumb, stupid thing that shouldn't exist.
Wow.
Yeah, so you'll have to see that when it comes out.
The boomerang that's going to change the rules once again is released on Shea Underwood social media platforms on Monday. All right. We'll check that out.
Yeah, it might not be exactly Monday, but sometime early next week. And it's the most dumb thing ever. Shouldn't be legal, but it is. So we'll see.
And this will probably come out after Monday. So honestly, if you're watching this, just go to Shay's page and look for the video that has 2 million views.
Maybe,
Speaking
yeah. We'll
speaking
see.
of millions of views, that's actually the next thing I wanted to ask about. How, is there a way when something's going to go viral? You post something, you make that video, you're like, shoot, that's it, or is it totally just a shot in the dark? You never really know, and you try and look at trends over a long period of time, but it's never certain.
Yeah. Well, I think I would like to think that I know what's going to go viral, but the reality is you never really truly know until you do it. But there are certain things that give you an advantage. Like number one, the only thing that these platforms care about is retention. How long can you make, or how good are you, or how good at making a video? Sorry, let me try that again. How good are you at making a video that people will watch several times?
Right.
Right? Because when people stay on their platform for a long time, they make money through ads. So if you want a video to get 3 million, 6 million views, you have to make a video that people watch 4 or 5 times in a row, and keeps people on the platform. And then also sends them on a journey through your page to watch all your other stuff after that. So like retention hacking, making sure that you're cutting out all the like the filler moments, or you'll see it oftentimes, especially in pickleball now because it's such a new sport. But when people start videos, they will like be looking at the camera for a second and then they'll start talking. And that second is when people swipe and go to the next video. Right. So cutting out moments like that give you a lot better chance of going viral. But also it's like using trendy audio, using moments, and like the videos that have the most success for me are videos that kind of like in some weird way tell a story or like take the viewer on this journey. So the very first video I did that got 1 million views was a trick shot that I did, and I just voiced over it using my iPhone. I just told people about what I was trying to do, the struggles I had with it, and people resonated with it. They watched the entire thing. But another thing that's probably been a factor in my success on like having videos that do really well is I like A/B testing. So what that means is I will take a video, and I will post it on TikTok, and I'll see how it does. And if it doesn't perform to like, what I think it should perform to, I'll tweak it, figure out what I did wrong, maybe even look at the analytics graph, post it on YouTube Shorts. I see it there. All right, I could do this a little bit better. Post it on Facebook. Okay, a little bit better. Post on Instagram, and now it's a banger. So just doing that over and over and over again will make your videos better and make people more likely to watch your entire video multiple times.
Just like, practicing third shot drops or serves over and over, if you fine tune your content and put enough time and effort, it's going to get better and better. So that's the right way to think about it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not everyone puts in that detail to really fine tune their content to the best possible way. But it's good to hear from people out there that are like really treating creating content like an art, and you're doing a great job with it.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because the content that I make does get a lot of views, but it doesn't necessarily translate to followers. So I'm in this like weird limbo space where I don't know if I should continue making content that just gets tons of views, or if I should start really focusing on like building community. It's just like this weird space because for me, there's always FOMO. Like I see other people doing really well, like building communities and like having newsletters and providing instructional content, and I'm not doing those types of things. So it's like, there's always an opportunity to do something else, and I'm just trying to find where I fit and what's enough for me in this world, in this space.
I mean, I think the thing about the newsletters and the coaching content is those are aspects of people's pickleball lives that they depend on and they need consistently. So if I'm reading a newsletter, I want to get my news every week. I need to get my news somewhere. If I'm a player not paying for clinics or lessons, I need my coaching tips. So I need to follow that person. I have a reason to. They consistently put out tips and content. Let me be part of that cycle. For you, they also rely on entertainment. People want to be entertained, but there's a lot of different means. So maybe something like, Trick Shot Tuesday. Like you may maybe already do that, but like some community drawing aspect where people know if they follow you, they're getting this thing consistently. I don't know. Just
No, that's really good stuff. And that's kind of what I'm struggling with is like I want to be consistent and do Trick Shot Tuesday, but another part of me wants to just like be free with it and do whatever excites me that day. And it might not be Trick Shot Tuesday, it might be something else. So it's like it's a weird balance, and I think we're all just trying to figure it out, man.
well, tomorrow follow me Friday. So
Follow me Friday. I just like ask people to follow me all day. I go live the entire day. Just say follow me.
honestly,
I'd probably lose followers if I did that.
I think that'd be some interesting content. You just go Instagram live all day, talk to random people. First, you say, "Hey, have you heard of pickleball?" And then for the percentage that have heard of it, hey, give me a follow and just I don't know. Maybe be
That's
interesting.
crazy.
Maybe
That's
not.
a good idea. You want to go live tomorrow, me and you? You got
Let's do
nothing to do tomorrow. I know you got nothing.
No, just running a tournament, but I can hold off on
Yeah. Oh yeah, the 500 people coming. They don't need you.
that. So another thing, and like I have some insight on this. A lot of people in the pickleball world, and people that are involved in media and content know this, but a lot of people who aren't involved in media and content don't know this. A lot of people might say, okay, he's an influencer, he's a content creator. How does he actually make money? So I'm really curious the way you would describe this to the, percentage of our audience that don't really understand the world of influencers and content creators. You don't have to go into, really detail, but for the average fan wondering like, how does he actually make money? Could you help walk us through that?
Yeah, 100%, man. And it's definitely different for all creators, and there's a tons of different ways to do it. I probably haven't capitalized on all the ways I could be making money, but that's like not my number one priority. But for me, the most of my money comes through the views. So these platforms, like I said, they make money by people being on their platform and them showing ads to people. And to reward you for making content, they give you a split of that ad revenue. So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are how I get paid. So if I make videos on those three platforms, I get paid via ads that advertisers like put money on to promote their content or promote their products. Then some of that money comes back to me. So that's the main source of income. But also there is like affiliate sales. So, I'm sponsored by Selkirk, which is a whole nother thing, but I like push Selkirk paddles, and as a result, I get like a commission on every paddle that I sell, or like my community buys using my code that gives them a discount. So those are like the two, I guess, most common ways is just like ad revenue from ads and also affiliate sales. But for other creators, there's all kinds of ways. It's not been really explored in pickleball yet, but like enhanced pickleball, for example, they do this thing called the Dink Pad, which is a product. So they like have a product, a physical product they sell, and they promote that product using the digital like space, right? Other people have done things like making books about pickleball, and maybe it's like an audiobook or an ebook, and they'll sell that via like content or whatever. There's also you can like offer membership courses for people. There's all kinds of ways, but for me personally, it's just like mainly ads and affiliate sales and sponsorships.
I have to, it's funny because you brought up the Dink Pad. I know Connor, he's a great guy. And I'll say this because those close to me truly know this is true. And I told it to Connor, and I'll put it out there just for fun. He did a great job with the Dink Pad. I had that exact idea about a year before, and I was looking into getting some prototypes made, and I just got bogged down with our academy, and then the pickleball clinic, and ended up not really pursuing it. I was dead set on doing something like that for a while. I'm sure many other people would be. And I told Connor, I said, "Hey man, I had that idea, but glad you did it, and I hope you kill
Yeah.
it." But
Dude, that's so funny, man, because like there's so many things like that where you feel like you have this amazing idea, but you don't act on it. And then like a month later, someone else does. And I don't know, it's funny that that happens like that. It's happened to me several times in videos, specifically. Like I have this idea for a video, and maybe I got it from somewhere else, but I don't do it. And then a month later, someone else does. It just happens all the time. But yeah, dude, happy for Connor. He's crushing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about your favorite all-time video that you've ever done.
Favorite all-time video. It's funny. If I could show you, I would just show you my phone. Whenever people ask me this, I just go to my Instagram and I refresh, and you can just see the likes coming in on this one video. But it's the I studied the pickleball rulebook for 1,000 hours. And it's just this like stupid serve that I did. But for some reason, that video just crushes it on all platforms and just continues to get views. So that one's really I like that one a lot because the first time I posted it, it just didn't do anything. And then I tweaked it, posted again, didn't do anything, tweaked it, posted again, didn't do anything. And then I tweaked it, posted again, and it crushed. And I took that same video and posted on all platforms, and it kept crushing. And then 3 months later, posted again, kept crushing. So I'm really proud of that one because I could have just given up on it after posting it the first time, but through some iterations, it ended up being an amazing video for me. So I'm really, really proud of that one. The second one I'm most proud of is what I called a YouTube video, the deadliest one-handed serve in pickleball. And it was just this process of me creating a different version of the Morgan Evans like snap one-handed spin serve. I did it with like a finger flick, and I spent a lot of time on that video, and it killed it for me. Really like put me on the map on YouTube. And yeah, I was just proud of that one.
So the first video, what was the tweak that you made that after two times tweaking in, nothing really came out, and then you made one little change. What was that?
Yeah, okay. So the very first time the video was kind of darker. The text I had on the screen was different. I had a background on that text, and I like jumped over the net and chest bumped the guy at the end of the video, and I had like a different audio on it. So there's like 5 things. Next time I did it, I changed the text. I took away the chest bump at the end. Did a little bit better. Next time I did it, I made the video a little bit brighter so it caught people's eye right away. I changed the audio so it's a little more punchy. Like I did this weird action and then like the audio hit like a beat drop. Did a little bit better. And then the next time I did it, I changed the caption on the video, like the text on the screen. I changed the voice that was narrating that text on the screen. I kept it bright. I kept the beat punch. I cut off the end a little bit more, and all those things together ended up making a great video.
What do you think contributes more to how well a video does, the editing or the platform itself?
Um, I I think the videos that do the best are the videos that are just good ideas to begin with. I had a conversation like yesterday with this guy. He's a Rocket League creator. He has like 700,000 subscribers, makes incredible videos, and he really prides himself on just coming up with amazing ideas and amazing thumbnails. And even if the edit isn't great, it's just like people are so invested in this idea and this journey that they'll stick around for it. This is kind of like a obscene quote, but you can't, if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. Like if it's a bad idea and it's a bad like concept and you do the best edit ever, it's still just going to be a bad idea and a bad concept. So making ideas and concepts like people get excited about or like curious about or they engage with is a lot more important than the actual editing that goes into it.
Well, that's why I'm interviewing you. I figured people are like, let me learn about Shea Underwood. What is this creator doing? So that's
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so I'd love to hear of, of what you're willing to share. Maybe the craziest video idea you've ever had that you haven't done yet. And I know you don't want to put something out there that then's gonna get
Yeah, that's
followed up
fine.
by another creator, but just curious, if you had any really, really crazy ideas you just weren't able to do or haven't gotten to yet. The thing about like the number one sort of craziest or most out there idea you had.
Yeah, so I'll tell you two. The first one is one I'm actually doing, like currently in the process of making. It's probably gonna be my next YouTube video. And I don't know the title exactly. The title might be How to Get Better at Pickleball, or the title might be I Play Pickleball for 1,000 hours, or sorry, I Play Pickleball for 1,000 days. This is what I learned. But it's what I did is I looked back at my entire pickleball career thus far, and I broke it into 100-day increments, and I delivered like what was the best thing I learned in each of those 100 days. Right, so that's a really cool one, and I'm working on that right now. We filmed all the B-roll for it in Phoenix this past week. I just got to do the voiceover and put it together. But another video that we actually are in the process of making, and this video might take me 3 years to make, and I give all the credit to this guy named Ben Bramblett. He has a
I love that.
Instagram
I love
page,
that. Yeah,
Benjamin Pickleball, I think. Yeah, he's a great guy. So I actually flew him out with me to California at the PPA Takea tournament, and we made this like video where I had 4 or 5 different paddles, and we gave them names. And the entire concept was we handed these paddles out to people, put a QR code on there, and basically just said, hey, we want you to get this paddle from California all the way back to Georgia using only the pickleball community. They can't go on planes. You just have to pass them off till they get closer to Georgia. And the first person that like gets the paddle to us, and it's going to Ben, the first paddle that he receives, the original person who had that paddle gets $500. So it's like a pickleball paddle race across America. But I think that video is kind of flopping just because I've not got any like submissions from that paddle race. I have no clue where the paddles are. They're just probably just in the desert somewhere. Who knows?
maybe 2 years from now, somebody bang on your door. I got it finally. I've been trying to find
Yeah,
you this whole time.
that's what I'm hoping for, man. Maybe me just saying this will get people like out on the streets looking for these paddles.
Somebody
Who
actually
knows?
shipped me a random paddle the other day and said, "Hey, can you find this guy named Shay?" I made that actually I might be the missing piece.
You might be. You might have the paddle. It's
So
funny.
I'm just curious, like if you could make $1 million a year as a pro pickleball player or as a content creator, which one would you choose?
I think content. Yeah, honestly. All right, so you're saying if I can make $1 million as a pro or a million as a content creator?
Yep.
Yeah, content all day. And the reason why, there's a couple reasons why. number one, just thinking about like what I want out of life is impact. And I can make more impact by having content that generates $1 million, because that means that I've provided content that provides value to people and people resonate with and is being shared with others. And that's most important to me. So just, making stuff that people care about, that's giving value to people. I think that's probably why I would choose that. If you make $1 million as a pro, that just means you're really good at pickleball, which
Yeah.
of course comes with its own value. But if you don't share that with people, then what do other people get out of it?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely content. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
When you think about your goals as a content creator, I don't know if you think in year increments, month, quarter increments, 5 years. What are some of the goals, some of the metrics, whether it's number of followers or viewers or money, or I know impact, whether it's measurable or not, like what kind of do you have in your mind is like where you want to be? um any time length, any specific metric? I'm just curious. If you're a doctor and you're going through med school, you want to be a general surgeon at a hospital. If you're a lawyer, you want to be partner. If we're running a business, we want to create a really, really huge business or have a really, really great business. What are sort of your goals as a content creator?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So I do this a little differently. So most people have New Year's resolutions where they like sit down and write what they want to get better at that year. I do it on my birthday because my birthday is like kind of at the beginning of the year. And so what I do is, a few years back, I sat down and I wrote out like what I thought at the time were my life goals on my birthday. So it's like this very special day for me. And then every year I revisit that and I like look at my life goals, see if I'm on track, and then see, okay, if I want to do this in my lifetime, I gotta do this in the next 5 years. And if I want to do this in the next 5 years, I gotta do this next year, which means I gotta do this month, which means this week I'm doing this, which means today I'm running a mile, right? So I look at it that way. For as far as like numbers go, like subscribers and followers, I personally have goals set for time, meaning that my goal is not to get 1 million subscribers, it's to spend an hour on a YouTube video every day, which is more obtainable in the long run. And whenever the million does come, it's not like, okay, well, what do I do now? It's, dude, you've been spending an hour a day for the past 7 years, just keep doing that. Right. So that's really just, putting time into it. I'll share with you a couple life goals. So one of them, uh kind of pickleball related, is just I want to give away a house. I just got to do that. That's just such like a cool, like grand gesture that's very attainable, but it's like so uncommon. But just imagine how much better you can make someone's life if you just gave them a house, right? That's pretty cool, right? So I want to do something like that. And I'm working towards that. Another thing that's like a giant life goal, and a lot of things have to go right for this to happen, but I want to play pickleball in the Olympics. Just imagine everything that has to go right for that to happen. So I'm doing my small little part of making that happen, which is spreading pickleball to the entire world, which is a requirement to have the sport in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some other things like got to do an Ironman, right? And hopefully I'm healthy enough in some time to do that, which is just like a huge daunting task. And gosh, I can't even begin to think about that right now. But yeah, man, it's mostly just time-based things. So spending time on things that matter and just working towards impacting people, being generous, spreading positivity, and leaving everything I do a little bit better than what it was when I found it.
Well, that's a good way to look at life, and I hope you accomplish all those goals. If you
Me
want to
too,
get
man.
a house, I mean, looks like you have a comfortable chair there. The walls seem clean. If you want, I'll take your house. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, that one's gonna happen. That's a fun one. Yeah.
Well, if you're ever gonna do a post on Instagram on giving away a house, I would love to collab post that. That would do pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that one would crush. I'm sure it would.
So I just want to close with something that I ask most people I interview, and that's, why do you love pickleball?
That's a great question, man. Funny, I actually I'll tell you a story about that question. So Kyle Kazuda, that pickleball guy, and I, the first time that we met in person was in Austin at a PPA tournament. And we were sitting in our hotel room, and I was like, Kyle, by the end of these 3 days, I want to make sure that every person at that tournament has seen our content on their feeds when they get home. And we were thinking, like, how do we do that? And then we're like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up to 50 people and we're going to ask them why they love pickleball. And we're just going to like make a video about it, get 50 people to do it. The 50th person gets like a free paddle or something. And so we asked several people, really like, cool people in the pickleball world, why they love pickleball. Got some great answers. So I love that question. But the reason I love pickleball is several reasons. And I think the most important to me is just the ability to connect with people that you would usually have no other way to connect to. So for example, like there's this woman, and she it lives in my hometown. My dad's built some houses for her, and she's such a sweetheart. And she's getting into pickleball. She's like trying to get better every day. And it's this common connection that we have now. Like we can just talk about pickleball. And there's nothing else in the world that would lead me to talk to this woman except for pickleball.
Right.
And there's several other instances of that. Like think about all the crazy interactions you've had on the court. So like a couple years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, I went out to play pickleball one morning and this dude flew his plane over the court, landed his plane on the lake, docked it, and then like swam over. And we played pickleball. And I just like kept picking his brain. I was like, dude, I really want to fly a plane this year. Like, how can we make that happen? And a couple hours later, I was literally flying this guy's plane, which is insane. Right. So pickleball did that for me. It's just the connections you make are otherworldly. And then another thing that I really love is just the ability to see progress. So think about how fast you got better at pickleball when you first started. So
Yep.
I'm sure the first day you're like, oh man, I don't even know how to keep score. Second day you kind of figure it out. Third day you're hitting ATPs, right? It's like your progression is so crazy in pickleball. And I just love seeing people that like feel like they might not be the most athletic anymore, like that was their past life, experience actual progress in an athletic endeavor. I love seeing that. So those are the two things that I think just, it's the sport's amazing, man. I hope everybody at least tries it. And yeah, dude, it sounds kind of corny, but pickleball literally could change the world. It's crazy, but it could.